Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a great Thursday so far. I'll allow a couple seconds for everyone to get logged in. Feel free to keep your camera on or off, whatever you're most comfortable with. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome to our Montessori Leadership Town Halls. We host these every Thursday throughout the school year. They're always at the same time, 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. Eastern on Zoom, and they're always free to join because we think it's nice to offer just a space where Montessori leaders and administrators from different communities can come together to discuss school leadership topics. We also host these town halls every now and then to talk about Montessori marketing and growing your enrollment because that's what we're experts in. And today we're going to be joined by our executive director, Elizabeth Demoulin, who's going to share with us some tips and strategies on understanding Google search ads. I'll go ahead and hand it over to her, but throughout the call, feel free to utilize the chat to ask questions or unmute yourself. This is very much an interactive call, so we hope that you can get your questions answered. All right, Elizabeth.
Wonderful. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Wonderful to see you. So we're going to talk a little bit today about understanding Google Ads and what our Google Ads service is that we provide a little bit. So this is for current clients and anyone that's here just learning a little bit more about Google Ads in general. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Feel free to, like Camilla said, unmute at any point and ask any questions or drop anything in the chat. We'll keep an eye on that. And I do have some time for some questions and answers at the end of our call here. All right. So this is what we're going to talk about. So number one, we're going to define what Google search ads are, how we target those prospective parents with Google search ads, when you will start to see results after you start Google search ads, how much do they cost? So looking at what is your budget for that, understanding the language around Google Ads. So it is kind of like its own language. As I'm not sure how many of you know, but I am a former client turned executive director. So we ran Google Ads, and understanding the language themselves was very difficult for someone who does not know much about Google Ads. So that's a part that I really wanted to hit and make sure that everyone kind of understood that. And then that will lead us to the reporting aspect. So how we at Nido Marketing send you reports about your Google Ads and how they're performing. And then lastly, how we maintain your ads to get you the maximum result. So you have an ad spend that you pay, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. And then also, if you run Google Ads through our agency, you're paying us. So this last point here is just going to kind of talk about what that is for and what you're paying us to do. Then finally, some questions and answers. So once again, please take some time to introduce yourself if you don't mind, and what school you're joining from, and why you joined today's town hall. So I'm going to give you a second. Go ahead, feel free to unmute or put this in the chat. Wonderful. So we have Allison Peterson from Pincushion joining us, just wanting to know about getting some more students and using Google Ads to draw from there. Wonderful. We have Karen from Montessori Country School, wanting to learn a little bit more about Google Ads. Wonderful. Amelia Island, Miranda, thank you for joining us. And Wally, thank you very much for joining us as well. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. So what are Google search ads? Based on this picture, this is what they are. So we at Nido Marketing, we run Google search ads. This means that when someone is searching for something, your ad's going to show up. So look at this picture. You may have been searching for other things on Google before and seen that little ad or the little sponsored. That is what a Google search ad is. So it's an online advertisement displayed on the search engine results page. So ads increase your visibility by placing your school at the top of the search results. So this is going to drive that targeted traffic to your website. So if we go back and look at this picture, well, let's say the search is for schools, you would be at the top of the page and it's going to be linking to your school's website. So one thing to know about this is that you only pay when someone clicks on your ad. So if someone's just scrolling and scrolls past your ad, you don't pay for that. It's only when they click on it. So once again, here's another example. This one is really specific to Montessori. So let's say someone is searching for Montessori schools near me. If you are running Google search ads, you're going to show up at one of these top 3 up here. So sponsored kind of there, or ad is where you will. So all 3 of these top search results are ads, as you can see by that sponsored logo there. So this is what it will look like when we say that we're running Google search ads for you, or if you're running Google search ads yourself. So targeting prospective parents. There's a couple ways we do this. First way is by keyword. So keywords are words or phrases that parents are likely to use in order to search for Montessori schools near them. So they might search for Montessori schools in wherever your location is. So let's say you're in Springfield. So they might be searching for Montessori schools in Springfield. That would be targeting by keyword. A daycare near me, Montessori elementary schools. These are all keywords that we use to help target those prospective parents. Google Ads also allow your ad to appear for searches that are similar in meaning, intent, or relevance. So keywords, what our team or you would put in as, these are what I want my ad to show up for. But it will also kind of pull those similar meaning things. So for instance, your ad might show up if someone searches best Montessori schools in Springfield, and your keyword here was Montessori schools in Springfield, it would still show up for that because it would know that that's similar. That's a relevant meaning here. We also target by location. So this meaning really where you're located at. So this allows us to specify where the ad should be shown based on your location of the user that's looking for it. So we can choose to display ads only for specific countries, regions. We could even do counties, cities, or even within a certain radius of a particular location. So usually we like to know where your school is located, so then we can kind of do a radius around it and say, this is how we're going to target by location. Anyone within 10 miles of your school, we're going to target that area. Formerly, we would guarantee 6 miles, but now there are so many other ways that we can target that is no longer relevant. So we really kind of target that radius and that location by where you are. So like if you're in a city, we might need to make that smaller than 6. Whereas if you're in a more rural area, we might need to expand it to 15 miles. So it kind of just depends on where your location is to how we kind of target by that. We also target with remarketing, and this is how we get these parents. So remarketing is if someone has visited your website before, we take their information and then we try to show up that your ad again on other places that they're looking. So through other websites, if they're using another app, if they're searching for something else on Google, that we also use this remarketing technique to help target those parents that are looking for Montessori schools. So when will you see results? That's the question we all want to know, right? So when I start these, when am I going to see these results? Typically in about 2 months. Google Ads do take a little bit of time. If you've never run them before, they're going to take a little bit more time because they have to read what's happening in Google and what your keywords are that you're putting in and what's kind of happening there. So you can't expect immediate results from these. However, they're very much quality leads that will be coming into your school. So you'll expect to see a higher number of tour bookings, your contact form being filled out, or really any forms you have on your website. If you have your tuition gated, those tuition requests will also be higher as well. So as you're running these, you're going to start to see more of this stuff coming in because it's directing more traffic to your website. So this is just a little graphic here. This is an example of a school that we started advertising for in January of this year. So number of inquiries is essentially anything that's filled out on their website. So this could be tour bookings, once again, that tuition or any type of form at all. So back in November, they had 1, then they had 10 in December. It bumped all the way up to 65 in January and to 45 in February. You may be wondering, like, why is there even a decrease here? Well, think about it. January and February and March are our big enrollment times. So we see a lot more inquiries during that time than we do typically. So you're going to see a huge spike in January, February, and March anyway. So seeing that going up and then possibly going back down, it's all kind of with the trends that we know that kind of fluctuate with Montessori schools. So how much do these cost? So you may want to ask yourself, do I have to have a large budget to run Google search ads? Generally, no. So typically we're looking at about $500 if you're new to running them, all the way up to $2,000 if you're been running them for a while or if you're in a very populated area. So it varies a lot. It varies based on your local area competition. So meaning kind of like your location and also your urgency of enrollment needs. So if you need a lot of enrollments quickly, you're going to want a higher budget. So it kind of varies based on that. But typically, if the school is advertising for the first time, we want to start with about $500 to $650. You may not be able to target all the keywords that you want or that are relevant to your programs, but this will at least cover enough to get you where you need to go, and get that Montessori general people searching for Montessori near you to come and look at your site there. So then after around 2 to 3 months, if you've just started them, it would be a good idea to scale that budget up a little bit to capture more of those searches. So it's okay to start with a little bit lower and then slowly adjust it up as you start to see results or you start needing more results. If you have a bigger school or you need more enrollments, like I kind of mentioned, you're going to have a higher budget here. So typically in the range of $1,400 to $2,000 is what we're looking at for those bigger schools or if you're needing a lot of enrollments. All right, so now we're going to jump into the language of Google search ads. So we're going to get a little technical here, so bear with me. If you have any questions or anything, let me know as we go through this last little part here as we talk about the language and the reporting. Are there any questions so far? I want to just kind of stop before I jump into this and make sure everyone is kind of okay with everything I've talked about so far. Feel free to drop it in the chat or unmute. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move on. Let me know if you have any as we get going. So conversion, what is a conversion? We talk about conversions a lot when we talk about Google Ads. This is just the total number of inquiries received on your website from Google Ads. So what is an inquiry then? So these are anything like any forms that have been filled out. So your tuition request, maybe a contact form, a lead magnet form, tours being booked. These are all conversions. These are all your inquiries that you're getting from your Google Ads. Phone calls also count for this. So we do offer like phone call tracking, whereas if someone calls your school and they're inquiring about your school, that would count as a conversion from your Google Ads. So an impression refers to how many times your ad was shown. So impressions are usually higher than our conversions. You might see CPC. What CPC means is cost per click. So Google Ads charges advertisers only when a person clicks on their ad. So kind of like I said, someone might see your ad as sponsored up there, but if they don't, you don't get charged until someone clicks on it. Your average CPC shows how much you pay per click. And the typical range for Montessori schools is around $2, a little higher than $2. So actually around $3 to about $4.50, but it depends on how competitive your area is. Keyword, we kind of talked about this already. This is the words that we as advertisers target. So if Nido Marketing is running your ads, this is what we're targeting. If you're running your own ads, these are what you're targeting. Search terms. So keyword versus search term. Search terms are the different ways that people are searching for your target keywords. So it's a little bit different. So we target Montessori near me as the keyword, but your ad will also show up for that best Montessori school in my area. So that's kind of, search term is what you're prospective parents are searching for. Keyword is what we're going to target to get our ad to show up. So a campaign is a way of dividing your ad account into smaller groups based on the keywords. So this is where you want to have someone build your ads that knows what they're doing to build these campaigns. So typically for us here at Nido Marketing, we have 3 typical campaigns that we build. So we build a program campaign, a Montessori campaign, and a branded campaign. So programs, meaning that we target your programs. So if someone's looking for Montessori Elementary, Montessori Early Childhood, Montessori Toddler, any of your programs, we're going to make a campaign for that. Montessori in general, we're going to make a campaign for. So this is for all those people that are searching for Montessori near me, Montessori schools in whatever your location is. These are people that are going to target and use that word Montessori. That's what's going to fall into this campaign here. And then branded is your school's name. So for instance, if your school name, my former school is Oak Haven Montessori School. So my branded campaign would be Oak Haven Montessori School, Oak Haven, OMS. So anything like that is going to fall into your branded campaign there. So people that are searching for your school by their name. So ad groups are a way that we further subdivide your campaign from there. So think about, you have your ad, you have your campaign, and then you have your ad groups that can go in there. So an example of your programs campaign would be that it could be further divided into 3 ad groups. So one for elementary, one for middle school, one for primary. So that would kind of be how we could divide that into an ad group. Next, we talk about ad spend. Kind of mentioned this already. This is the amount of money that is budgeted to be paid towards Google. So we recommend in general, like I said, it kind of depends on your size. We'll give you a better recommendation once we actually have you on but in general, we recommend $500 to $1,000 a month for Google Ads. Any questions on any of the terms that I've gone over? All right, so now I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty a little bit here. So reporting. So this is the reports that we would send if you're having us run Google Ads for you. These are the types of reports that we're going to send you, and a little bit of a breakdown of what these reports are. This is once again going to kind of review that vocabulary, give you an idea of what this all would break down to. So like I said, we send you, if you're running ads through Nido Marketing, the middle of each month, your client manager is going to email you a link to 2 reports, a summary report and a search term report. They're very different. So we're going to review the summary report first. So a couple notes about the summary report. If you are a current client, it is a live link. It's accessible throughout the month, whenever you want it to. These reports exclusively cover data only from Google Ads. So we're not looking at your CRM. We're not looking at your Google Analytics. These reports are just for your Google Ads. In the top right corner, you can choose a date range that you want to view the report for. So it's always default to set to show results for the previous month. So you'll see if this was the March report that was just sent out on March 15th, you're going to see your date of your report is February 1st through February 29th. So this is what that first little window would look like. So your first little window is meant to give you your total count of inquiries, or kind of like we say, conversions. Remember, those conversions include anything that anyone fills out on your website. So tuition, contact form, tours, lead magnets, or like I mentioned, even those phone calls. So you'll see this school here had 40 conversions during the month of February. You'll see a smaller green number underneath some of these, and this is the indicating last month to this month. So since January, from January to February, this school has been up 53% in their conversions. That's pretty good there. And then this breaks down further where all those conversions came from. So they had 11 tuition requests, 7 tours, 5 form submissions, which is probably like a contact form, and 17 lead magnet downloads, and no calls. So you'll see it breaks down where these 40 conversions come from. This is just a breakdown of your daily trends of when most of these conversions came in. So you'll see we were pretty quiet the first half of February. And then around February 14th, we jumped up a little bit, jumped up again here. And towards the end, we really started getting a lot of conversions towards the end. So this is the next little section that you'll see on your Google Ads summary report. This one is where it gets a little confusing and people get like, what is even happening? So the red text is what it means next to it here. So let's talk about clicks here. Clicks is what it sounds like. People who click on your ads to visit your website or dial the phone number that's shown in that ad. So this school had 211 clicks. Impressions, remember this is how many times your ad was shown. They had 1,501 times that their ad was shown here. The CTR, click-through rate, is basically your clicks divided by your impressions. So this is how many times your ad was shown. This is how many times it was clicked. 14%. This may not seem like a lot, especially when we talk about percentages. Typically low percentages are not good, but in this case it is. So we're looking overall for a 5.5 to 6% click-through rate, and that's a good thing. So this one is actually over double what is considered good. So this is a really good click-through rate, really good. These ads are performing well. The cost here, this is the amount of money spent on the ads so far during that period. So this person has a little bit over $1,000 ad budget here. Your search impression shares. So what this means, essentially, if there's 100 people searching for your keywords, your ads are showing up 30% of the time in those searches. So this is just essentially a percentage here. Your average CPC, so remember this is that cost per click. This is how much you pay per click, is $5.13. That's pretty good. The typical range for Montessori schools is about $3.50 to $5. So it's a little bit at the higher end, but it depends on how competitive your area is. And Google Ads tends to inflate their cost frequently. So sometimes this will be a little bit high, other times it's super low. So that kind of balances it out as it goes from month to month. And then your conversion rate. So this is how many conversions. Remember, conversions are those inquiries. So how many inquiries that you've had. Right here, we have right here. This is the conversions divided by your clicks. So you'll see we have had 40 conversions out of 211 clicks, which gives us about 19%. So this is the people who fill out something on your website after seeing their ad. A high conversion rate usually means a good percentage of parents have filled out a form after looking at your website. Websites that have their tuition information behind a form usually have a much higher conversion rate, as we kind of go about here. Remember those conversions, just your total account of inquiries, and then cost per conversion. So this is your money maker here. So this is how much am I spending to get a lead, essentially. And this is where you're going to see this. So this school is spending $27.09 to get a conversion. So let's say that lead is a tour and they enroll in your school. Oh, your tuition is about $1,000 a month. So let's say you have this person for a year. You paid $27 for that tour, and now you've made $12,000 off of them. So essentially, this is where your bread and butter is. This is where you want to make sure that what you're paying for your conversions is matching up to what you're going to get from there. I wanted to point this out. So this is just a little device performance chart here. It's basically saying, let's look at the 3 devices that most people try to look and access websites on. So mobile devices, computers, or tablets. If you look across here, majority of the highest here is all mobile devices. I just want to point that out, that it's really important to make sure that your website is mobile compatible, because this is exactly why. Most people are using a mobile device to look at your site and look at your school. So making sure that it works on a mobile device is so crucial to marketing your school. This is another chart that might show up on your summary report. This is just kind of seeing your performance over the months. So once again, you can kind of see, this is how we track those trends. So you'll see June is pretty low, as well as March, and it's summertime. Most people aren't getting enrollments in the summer. So it's a good way to kind of see what's happening. And it's really good to be able to compare this data year over year to make sure your trends are still staying the same. All right, any questions on the summary report or any of that I've gone over so far? Wonderful. So moving on to the search term report. So this is another report that you might get if you're a client of ours. You get this monthly. We really want to have your input on these search terms. So remember, search terms are what your prospective parents are looking for. When they go into search, this is what they would be searching for. So in this first column here, based on this thing, you'll see this is a list of the phrases that people have searched for on Google search and that your ad has appeared against that search. So you'll see here, childcare nearby. Maybe you want your ad to show up for that. Montessori daycare. Obviously, we want them to show up for that. Toddler program near me. Definitely, that's a great quality lead. If you have a toddler program, we want someone that's searching for that for your ad to show up. Preschool near me. If you offer preschool, yes, you want your ad to show up. You want the more enrollments that you can. Montessori school in general. So these are just a couple of search terms that you would have. So once again, how are search terms different from keywords? So remember, as advertisers, we're bidding on those keywords. The search terms are what people are looking for. So if we look at your example down here, keyword we bid on is Montessori near me. Your ad may appear for a search term, such as Montessori preschool in LA, or wherever you're located. Or it could also show up for Guidepost Montessori or any other competitor in that area. So Montessori near me, really your ad could show up for any of these different types of things here. Search terms are what your prospective parents are looking for. Keywords are what you're targeting when you're inputting these into your Google ads, when you're building your Google ads. So column B in our search term report is where we need the action from most of our clients here. So the reason we share this report with our clients is to get your feedback on these search terms, and especially for those that you would never want to show up for. So this will help your ads save money at the end of the day, so you're not paying when someone clicks on your ad for that search term. So for instance here, maybe you don't want your ad to show up for a local competitor. Bright Start Academy, this is a local competitor. You don't want your ad to show up. You can go ahead and just put in letter B, irrelevant. Maybe you have a good relationship with them. You don't want to take stuff from them. You're going to go ahead and just leave that there. Maybe preschools near me. Maybe you don't offer a preschool program. Maybe you only have middle school and elementary. Then that would be a search term that you don't want to show up for. So this is kind of where we like to get your opinion as we go through, because at the end of the day, if we're running ads for you, we're not there, we're not in your location. This is where we would need your help of what would you not want to show up for. So speaking of search terms that you don't want to show up for, here's a couple examples. So if your program is a program that your school does not offer. So like I said, if one of your search terms is toddler Montessori program and you don't have a toddler program, you want to not show up for that. You don't want to mislead your leads. A completely irrelevant search. So Miss Rachel's toddler learning videos. We don't want to show up for that. That's not relevant to us at all. People searching for a particular competitor school that you never want your ads to show up for. So once again, maybe you have a good relationship with a competitor school. You don't want your ads to show up for them. That would be something that you would go ahead and negate from there. Or people searching for schools in areas that are too far from your school's campus. So maybe one of the search terms is a town that is over an hour away. We may not know that. We do our best to know that, but sometimes we don't. So this is where we would need your help. And this would be a search term that you might not want your ad to show up for. All right, so at the end of the day, like I said, we do offer Google Ad services. Those are $3.99 a month. What are you paying us to do? essentially. What are you paying that $3.99 a month for us to do? And how are we, when you could do this yourself? And this is kind of what it comes down to. So we look at your metrics frequently. Our ads team is always looking at your ads and deciding what needs to be tweaked, what needs to be moved. I would say at least once a week, probably more than that. Our ads team is looking at your ads and seeing what we can do to help save you money, and get you more leads. So we usually measure the total number of inquiries that your school is receiving in your CRM. That's really the most valuable tool is your CRM, because that's where everything is happening when people are filling things out on your website. We look at those monthly trends, the yearly trends, to see how these changes in your ad account are getting lower or higher leads within your CRM. So we look at all this, we look at those metrics all the time. Comparison. So we do this for a lot of Montessori schools. So we're able to compare kind of how one school's ads are doing to another school's ads, and kind of see how it goes. Typically, we're not going to compare, like we said, a lot depends on location. We're not going to compare a school on the East Coast to the West Coast because they're two completely different things there. But we like to compare schools that are close or schools that are similar and make sure that the ads are performing in the same way. Frequent review and communication. So like I said, we're always looking at these ads. We're always looking and changing things, trying to get you the best bang for your buck, trying to save you the most amount of money to get you the most amount of leads. And then communication. So very often, if our ads team does see something, they communicate with your client manager and says, hey, I think we need to adjust this. And then your client manager will reach out to you and say, hey, this is what our ads team is recommending. What do you think? And then kind of go from there. I had to put this in here because this happens a lot. If you are running your own ads, or if we are running your ads, don't listen to Google. Google is an agency, so they are going to call you and try to market you and try to get you to spend the most amount of money. There's very often we've had clients say, hey, Google called me and told me that I need to do this with my ads. Don't do that. They are literally trying to spend your money so that to get you less amount of leads because they want your money. We are here to work for you. You are here to work for yourself to get you the most amount of leads for the least amount of money. Google does not do that. So if they call you, just say, nope, sorry, I'm not interested. I'm already know what I'm doing here. We were just forewarned that they're also sending emails now to whoever is in charge of ad accounts and saying, hey, turn on this auto fix your campaigns, and Google will automatically like tweak your campaigns for you. You don't want to do that either. So just a forewarning for you all, whether you're running them yourselves or whether we're running them for you, you are the one that knows how to get the most bang for your buck. Don't listen to Google. They want your money. And I wanted to take a second to touch on social ads too. So social ads are great, but they're great for a different purpose. So Facebook and Instagram is what I'm talking about here. So Google ads are going to directly get you those leads that are looking for you. Social ads are better for generating awareness in the brand of your school. They're just two completely different purposes. They're both really good. We see a lot more Google ads because we want more enrollments in our schools. We want to spread the word about Montessori more and get more children in our schools. Social ads, like I said, are really great for awareness or brand. So if you're having an open house or you're having parenting classes, something like that, this is what social ads are great for. So where are these social ads seen? They'll be seen on Facebook and Instagram in the actual homepage, in the stories, in the reels, or Facebook Messenger. And like I said, kind of when is it recommended to advertise on Facebook and Instagram? If you want to generate awareness or change a perception of your school. So let's say you may have just bought a school that didn't have a great reputation. Social media ads would be a great thing to run to help change that perception a little bit. Kind of on the other side of this too, if your programs are full, so you're not needing as much Google ads, you're not needing as much enrollments, you can always back off your Google ads and turn to some social ads and just keep running some social ads to keep your school at the top of those prospective parents' minds and keep those enrollments coming in for the future. If you're trying to target audiences across multiple channels, so those prospective parents see you everywhere, not a bad idea to run this. And then also remarketing is a great way to also get to those parents on Facebook and Instagram. If you're looking to find those people who have previously visited your website, but didn't fill anything out, that's a great way to run social ads too. All right. How are we doing? What questions do we have? What do you want to know more about?
Hi, Elizabeth. I'm so sorry to miss the first half of the conversation. Just to clarify, when you talk about Google Ads, you're talking about when somebody is searching on the web, on the Google, and that comes as sponsored, right? That's what you mean. Mhm.
Yep.
And do we make the ads ourselves, or you help us do it? Do you have templates?
So we have a Google Ads service that we offer for $3.99 a month. There might be, Camilla, do we have anything on Thrive for Google Ads to help people set them up?
We have a very basic course, but I really do recommend actually Google Ads itself has a lot of resources to help you get started, but I will warn you, it is a bit of a learning curve. It's a lot to understand all of their stats, everything. So it will take a learning period. So I will say that. There are a couple of resources, and I also recommend using our forum to ask questions. I know some Montessori school leaders out there are running their own ads, so they might be able to help. But I do preface it with, yes, it will take some time to learn.
So my question is, doing the ad is what we need help with, right? Because I'm not a marketing person. So the question is there somebody on your team? I mean, if we have pictures and, some wording, can somebody put it together as an ad, or is that something we do and then we give it to you and Elizabeth and you run it through the Google Ads?
No, so we can build it for you and we can manage it and we can run it for you for all of that. We obviously don't have access to your pictures. We would need your pictures and we like your input on things, but our team builds them, manages them, does all that for you. Yeah.
Okay.
What other questions do we have? Or anything we want to know a little more about?
We have one here in the chat from Wally. Is there a stat showing numbers of conversions per enrollment?
So Wally, conversions is like our inquiry. So how many forms have come in? So you're saying like for an enrollment, what forms they filled in?
No, basically my question was this, Elizabeth, that let's say if we have like 100 conversions, doesn't mean that that may lead to an enrollment, right? It may or may not. The person may not
Right.
decide to do anything, but maybe out of that, a handful will say, okay, I'm going to enroll. And that's where really the source of revenue is in terms of the school. So let's say in a given month in February, there are about 100 conversions that occurred, but only 2 enrollments. So if I would say, okay, I have so many, basically 50 conversions per enrollment, something like that. So see in how effective my conversions were in getting enrollment done. That's the kind of thing I was thinking about.
Right. And that's kind of where the Google Ads and our services stop. So we bring those leads to you, and then from there, you're trying to sell them on your enrollment. So those tours, a tour conversion is prime. You want tours because those are the ones that you're getting to come in and see your school and talk to and tell them all about what your school is doing and what Montessori is. The tuition request is why we often say if you have your tuition behind a form, to call those people as well, because you're just kind of letting it sit there. And if you let it sit there and they don't do anything, you're losing that. In this case, we talked about there was a school that was paying $27 per conversion. You're losing that $27 then if you just let them kind of go away. So we always encourage you to follow up. And that's why we also in our CRM have like the email nurture courses. And we say reach out to your email list regularly. You want to always keep those people active and keep them coming back.
So let me back off. Instead of saying conversions per enrollment, let me say conversions per tour. That's probably more meaningful because you drop off at the tour pace. So that is a good stat also to have. Okay, how many tours did I get out of the conversions that I got received in a given month. Something like that. Now it could, the worst case scenario is that there's a conversion, but nothing happens, right? So something like that would be helpful to know. Okay, I got 100 conversions, out of that I got 20 tours. That would be a nice data to look at and see, okay, how
And
many people have I been able to bring in?
And that's what you would want to use, Wally, your client manager and your CRM for. So we can meet with you and meet with your client manager and go through your CRM and say, okay, we have had 4 tours come from Google Ads this month. Let's go find them in my CRM and see, okay, these are their names. How did those tours go? Did they enroll? Okay, so my conversion per my tour per enrollment rate is 50%. So I only got 2 out of those 4 to enroll. Kind of where did that leave off? So that might be a time that you can kind of think about those 2 that didn't enroll, follow up with them and be like, hey, I'm just trying to gather a little bit more information. What can you tell me why you didn't enroll? Was it the tuition cost? Was it something about the tour? Kind of you can kind of gauge from there then where you're losing those tours from those conversions. Does that make sense?
Yes, that data is not available in a report and as a part of a general report, right?
Right, because it's
Okay.
very specific to your schools, and if you have a CRM that's
Okay.
tracking those conversions, but we can do that data for you, Wally. We can get that for you, for sure.
Hopefully you're doing it because I mean I have the CRM as well as the Google Ads, so hopefully that is being done. I just haven't been following much. I've been just kind of lagging on doing that. But anyway, but on a follow-up question, and then I kind of stop here. How effective is a good SEO, like this, search engine optimization in the website? How effective is it compared to Google Ads?
So SEO would be those where you rank below all of the ads. So if I go back to one of my first slides here that had the picture of the Google Ads. So your SEO, those SEO generated sites would be right below these sponsored ads. So if you're running Google Ads, you're going to show up here. If you're not running Google Ads, but you have good SEO, you're going to show up down here, but hopefully towards the top if your SEO is high. So that's kind of where SEO and Google Ads are really unrelated, because Google Ads are those sponsored sites up here. Your SEO affects your general ranking, which will be below all of your ads.
Wally, were you at last week's town hall? Because we talked a little bit about SEO.
No, I actually missed it. I have to go back and listen to it. I couldn't attend last one, but I will go back and look at the video.
Definitely have a look at it, because SEO can be effective, but the benefit that ads has over SEO is that it's pretty immediate results. SEO takes a lot more time. You have to audit your website, you have to create content, you have to be updating and refreshing it. And it's like building trust with Google so that they push your content higher. With ads, you're paying them to push your content, so you're going to get much quicker results. So it's really up to you what approach you want to take. I recommend doing things for both if you really want to rank yourself higher. But yeah, have a look at the recording if you want to learn a little bit more about SEO for sure.
Thank you.
All right. What other questions do we have? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and move on here. Just want to let you know, if any of you, I don't believe any of you are in the Florida area, but if you know any schools that are in the Florida area, especially Miami, or just in that general, we are having a live in-person event coming up here at the end of April. There are going to be more of these to come, so feel free to keep an eye out and see if there will be one close to your area if you are not in that area. But this is Kazim Aslam here. He is our owner, and he is a marketing expert and knows a lot more than I do. I know a lot, but he knows a lot more than I do about marketing. So he's going to be a speaker here at this event that we're having. It's free. It's going to be a learn and lunch basically. So come on down, learn a little bit about marketing, and get some free food and hang out with some other Montessorians in the area. So this is happening at Montessori here at the end of April, and it's on a Saturday here. Like I said, we're gonna have more coming, but these live events are great, and it's great to get the chance to actually meet some of our clients and put some even non-clients here, get to put a face to your name. Camilla is actually going to be at this one, so if you have anyone in the area, get to meet Camilla in person. We all know how great she is at these town halls and providing stuff for our community.
Every time I see Kasim's picture, his hair gets longer and longer.
It does,
No.
doesn't it?
When I started working here, it was short, and now
Yeah, I
it's
know.
longer than mine at this point.
So if there's, and then kind of like we've said before, if there's anything else that you would like to discuss at future town halls, please let us know. We're always looking at getting feedback from you all to guide these meetings that we have weekly. Camilla's email's there. Feel free to reach out to her with anything that you may want to talk about in the future. All right. Thank you all very much for your time. I appreciate it. And we hope to see you again next week. Camilla, do you want to talk about what we have next week real quick before I
Yeah,
wrap up?
tomorrow not tomorrow, next week, we're gonna be talking about steps you can take as a school administrator to create a more positive working environment. So it's very much gonna be an open forum. Feel free to join in, share your tips. We'll be sharing some resources for just making your working space better for your employees. Retention is a huge thing that we're always looking to do in the Montessori space. We also have some great leaders and speakers lined up for April, so stay tuned for our April town halls. We're going to have one on building Montessori programs from the ground up. So if you wanted to learn more about maybe starting a new program at your school, how you can start building that, have a great speaker for that. And also we're going to be talking about how administrators can support assistants later in the month as well in April. So if that's something you're looking to do, I know assistant turnover can sometimes be an issue at Montessori schools, especially as most of our assistants are not necessarily always AMI or AMS trained. So we hope there'll be some constructive conversations over that. Again, as Elizabeth mentioned, feel free to email me if there's any requests for topics. We'll be doing our town halls through May. Again, we'll be off for the summer. I know nobody wants to spend their free time focusing on school. You guys definitely deserve that time off in the summer. But our resources are always going to be available to you. And yeah, message me if you have anything you want to discuss in a future town hall.
Wonderful. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your week.